See children, so here today we are going to learn about a different person, a great person from our country. So we should know so many things about him. So what are these we can learn in this lesson? What is this lesson? Yes, have you heard about this person? Who is he? Sir C.V. Raman. Sir C.V. Raman. So have you heard about him? Yes. What did you hear? Yes, very good. He is a Nobel Prize winner. How did he get Nobel Prize or not? What is this Nobel Prize that we can say in this? First of all, you see here, yes, gold coins are here, right? Yes. What are these gold coins? Have you seen this? Yes, in our Mahabharata, Ramayana, in the olden days we have so many gold coins. Whatever we have coins, 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupee like that. Once upon a time we have gold coins, right? But at the same time, for the memory of some people also released the coins, right? Even our Chhatrapati Shivaji, our Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhiji, with their and Indira Gandhi, Nehru, different names, persons, their pictures, they release the coins. So now here these gold coins, that is Alfred Nobel. So they started these Alfred Nobel Prize for their victory, and then it was in 1833. See the Roman numbers there they have given 1833, and the next one here 1896. So like they have given gold coins what they released in those days, the governments. So now it's the time to read about C.V. Raman, how he got the Nobel Prize and what kind of works he had done to become great scientist, that we can see in this. So one of the most prominent Indian scientists in history is nothing but C.V. Raman, was the first Indian person to win the Nobel Prize in Science for his illustrious 1930 discovery, now commonly known as the Raman effect. Actually in 1930 he discovered. So the first Indian scientist who got Nobel Prize, the person is nothing but Sir C.V. Raman. Right? One of the most prominent Indian scientists. Prominent means very well-known Indian scientists. So in history, C.V. Raman was the first Indian person to win the Nobel Prize. Yes. So Nobel Prize, first person from India means nothing but our C.V. Raman. So in the science especially, for his illustrious, yes of course some people they got it, but different fields they got it. Rabindranath Tagore he got it. So but especially in the science means the first person is nothing but C.V. Raman. So for his illustrious 1930 discovery, so his great discovery in 1930, for that he got Nobel Prize. So this discovery we call it commonly as Raman effect. We call it as Raman effect. It is immensely surprising that Raman used equipment worth merely 200 rupees to make this discovery. So great, see that. It is immensely surprising. It's a great surprise to everyone that Raman used equipment worth of almost 200 rupees. In those days, 200 rupees to make this discovery, whatever the discovery invented, for that it has taken almost 200 rupees in those days. But the total expenditure. But the Raman effect is now examined with the help of equipment with almost millions of rupees. But the same discovery to do it, or else whatever the equipment they use, he used in those days, that now to use it means it costs millions of rupees. But in those days means almost it's 100 years old. But at that time 200 rupees cost, but now it is millions of rupees it takes. So how he did it we can understand. So how his early life, that we can see. Chandrasekhara Venkata Raman was born at Tiruchirappalli in Tamil Nadu on 7th November 1882 to a physics teacher. Yes, his father is also a physics teacher, and his full name C.V. Raman. Chandrasekhara Venkata Raman, he was born in Tiruchirappalli in Tamil Nadu on 7th November 1888. In 1888, 7th November, his date of birth. Raman was a very sharp student, yes, from the beginning, very sharp student. After doing his matriculation at 12, matriculation means it's equal to 10th class nowadays. Okay, he was supposed to go abroad for higher studies at that time. Immediately he planned to go to abroad for higher studies. But after medical examination, see, at the age of 12 years only he completed his matriculation. Now it's a minimum time, minimum age 15-16 years we are getting to complete our 10th class. But in those days he has completed by 12 years only, and immediately he wanted to go to abroad. But after to go to abroad means definitely medical certification and so many tests should take it. So in the medical examination, a British surgeon suggested against it. So that British surgeon didn't accept him. So Raman instead attended Presidency College, Madras. So later he attended the President's College, Madras. That he went. After completing his graduation in 1904 and MSc in physics in 1907, Raman put through various significant researches in the field of physics. So first he graduated in 1904 and later MSc in physics. So first after the 10th class, intermediate, degree and post graduation, like that we have. So he completed his post graduation MSc in the physics subject in 1907. So Raman put through various significant researches in the field of physics. So different researches he started. So he studied the diffraction of light, and his thesis on the subject was published in 1906. So what he discovered, that diffraction of light and thesis on that was published in 1906. Raman was made the Deputy Accountant General in Calcutta in 1907 after a successful civil service competitive examination. So first he attempted the civil service examination, and later he worked as a Deputy Accountant General also in Calcutta in 1907. Very much occupied due to the job, he still managed to spare his evenings for scientific research in the laboratory of the Indian Association for Cultivation of Science. So actually he was started, he is a Deputy Accountant General. So total day he was very busy with that work. But still he is very much interested in physics and all these things. That's why evening time he started to the researches in that. So especially where he did, so that laboratory of the Indian Association for Cultivation of Science, that research laboratory he did it. In that, on certain occasions, he even spent the entire night. So sometimes, certain occasions means sometimes, while he was doing the research, interestingly, continuously was doing. So throughout the night also. Such was his passion that in 1917, he resigned from the position to become the professor of physics at Calcutta University. So such was his passion, interest. Suppose if you are playing any game, if it is interesting means, do we get it from that? No, right? So like that, he was very much interested in researches. So he never mind about the time and sleep also. Continuously he was reading. So how he was interested in that we can see. And he resigned from position to become the professor of physics at Calcutta University. He resigned for that position also. Professor, he became the professor of physics also at Calcutta University. And then we can see whatever the contributions and achievements he got in his life. On a sea voyage to Europe in 1921, Raman curiously noticed the blue color of the glaciers and the Mediterranean. So on a sea voyage, so sea voyage means a journey on the sea. So while we are going in the ship, so that sea journey, long journey if we are going, so there we can see the water in different ways, right? So here while we were on the way to Europe trip in 1921, Raman curiously noticed. Curiosity means interesting to learn, show the interest to learn the new things, right? So with that curiosity, interest, noticed the blue color of the glaciers. Glaciers means the river of the ice, that is how it is at the poles, North Pole, South Pole, like that we call. So almost the water is like the ice, but there that ice is looking like blue color. And the Mediterranean Sea it is. So there the water color is a different ways it is that he observed. He was passionate to discover the reason of the blue color. Why there the water became the blue color? Water is not it's colorless, right? So wherever we keep it, the thing, whatever the color, that's only it reflects. But here blue color, what is this? So that he wanted to find it. So once Raman returned to India, he performed many experiments regarding the scattering of light from water and transparent blocks of ice. Yes, so many experiments after returned to India. So many experiments he did it. So how the light reflects, how the light it comes from the water. So and the blocks of ice. According to the results, he established the scientific explanation for the blue color of sea water and the sky. So according to the results that how it is getting, and he established a scientific explanation for some scientific explanations are there how it is coming, the blue color and everything that he observed. So blue color of sea water and the sky. Sky looks blue color, right? The same way how sea water also looks like that he observed. There is a captivating event that served as the inspiration for the discovery of the Raman effect. So there is a captivating event, captivating means holding, very interesting event that served as the inspiration of the discovery of the Raman effect. So that's that showed very great interest about the Raman effect. Raman was busy doing some work on a December evening in 1927 when he is a student, K.S. Krishnan, who later became the director of the National Physical Laboratory in New Delhi, gave him the news that Professor Compton has won the Nobel Prize on scattering of X-rays. Yes, see that. So, when Raman was very busy in doing some kind of work in December evening session in 1927. So, one of his students, that person is nothing but K.S. Krishnan. That K.S. Krishnan, he became the director of National Physical Laboratory, New Delhi. So he became the director to that. That person gave the news to our Raman, that is, Professor Compton has won the Nobel Prize. How he got it? In which he got it? That scattering of X-rays. Yes, X-rays, you have idea about it? Yes, the rays, how we get it, and even normal X-ray, suppose any part in our body, effect means by doing the X-ray, they give it. So here X-rays, how we get it, starting it was. So later, now we are doing advanced versions, but in those days, first starting how we got it, that these people invented. So, and this led Raman to have some thoughts. So, when he discovered this one, immediately Raman also got different kinds of ideas, thoughts. So he commented that if the Compton effect is applicable for X-rays, it must also be true for light. He carried out some experiments to establish his opinion. Yes, X-rays with that we are getting means definitely the light also passes on that. So definitely whatever I have done, that is a proper way only, that he thought it, and whatever he has opinion, yes, he should keep it in the proper way, he thought it. Yes. So Raman employed monochromatic light from a mercury arc which penetrated transparent materials and was allowed to fall on a spectrograph to record its spectrum. So Raman employed monochromatic. Monochromatic means only one color, how it reflects. So one color light from a mercury arc which penetrated means to get into that, which go into transparent materials and was allowed to fall in the spectrograph. Spectrograph means far distance, how we can see very closely. So that spectrograph to record its spectrum. So what is going on there? Easily how can we see? How can we observe? How can we understand? So this you can see. So during this, Raman detected some new lines in the spectrum which were later called Raman lines. So while he was doing that through the spectrogram, he observed some lines. That means like if we have some rays, lines with it. Generally can we observe? Not at all. But with the spectrogram we can observe. So there in that spectrum he observed some lines. Yes, then he got the clarity about it. And later those lines are called Raman lines also. After a few months, Raman put forward his discovery of Raman effect in a meeting of scientists at Bangalore on March 16, 1928, for which he won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1930. Yes, later that discovery that how the rays, light we are getting for everything he had given that is later called as Raman effect. So in a meeting of the scientists, there he explained, scientists at Bangalore. So on March 16th, 1928. So for which in that meeting how he explained, and what for that all the people impressed, and that effect is worked. So then for that he got the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1930. In 1928 he did that one. In the meeting he explained that in 1930 they awarded the Nobel Prize. And the Raman effect was considered very significant in analyzing the molecular structure of chemical compounds. So the Raman effect was considered very significant in analyzing the molecular structure. So in the chemical compounds, that is the molecular structures, how they are and how they are reacting and everything. Now to find it means Raman effect is only the source. Okay, and after a decade of its discovery, the structure of about 2000 compounds was studied. So after this, about 2000 compounds structure they studied, and thanks to the invention of the laser, that means his Raman effect, special Raman effect, route to remaining compound structures. So to learn different things, to discover different things, this is the route. So that's why, thanks to the the invention of the laser, the Raman effect has proved to be a very useful tool for the scientists. No, the Raman effect, whatever he discovered, that is the tool, main important basic thing to all the scientists nowadays, whatever they are discovering or inventing. And some of the Raman's other interests were the physiology of human vision, the optics of colloids, and the electrical and magnetic anisotropy. So he is especially physiology. Physiology means actually our body organisms, how these are working and everything, that he is very much interested in that. And the optics, colloids, and the electrical and magnetic anisotropy. So especially the varieties of physical properties, how those are, and everything in the electric. So how those are working, everything he showed very much interest, and he has given much knowledge about that also to the next generations. So now later life and death. So what happened after his Raman effect and Nobel Prize? So C.V. Raman became the fellow of the Royal Society in London in 1924. So fellow of the means one of the member students in the Royal Society of London in 1924. A year later he set up Raman Research Institute near Bangalore, where he continued the scientific research until his death, which was caused by a strong heart attack on November 21st, 1970. 1888, November 7th he was born, and now November 21st, 1970. 1888 he was born, 1970 he died. So with a heart attack. So first up to 1924 he worked in different places. Later he only established the Raman Research Institute near Bangalore, and there only he did the research till his death. And his sincere advice to aspiring scientists was that scientific research needed independent thinking and hard work, not equipment. So the aspiring scientists who want to become the scientists, he has given a suggestion. Scientific research needed independent thinking. We should think our own, and hard work, not of the equipment. Yes, to become the scientist means it's needed to us to become the scientist. That is scientific research needed independent thinking. Always we should think individually. But already what others did, that if we do, it means no use at all. So independent thinking and hard work, but not of equipment. Equipment means what others did, that if we follow, no use at all. That he suggested to the new scientists.